everyone. This is Alex again from the ISA 2024 show floor. Today I'm joined by Matthew Cline. He's the Director of Design and Engineering at Joslin and Son Signs in Nashville. Matthew, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, good to be here. Thanks, Alex.
Yeah, so everyone who's read the article on signshop.com or in the magazine knows that Matthew is one of our Young Sign Maker Award winners. He took home the bronze medal, but as I was explaining to him, delineating between gold, silver, bronze, honorable mentions, everyone was extremely impressive this year. And we really appreciate you taking the time to engage with us for this award.
Absolutely.
So, as you guys know, if you've read the article, he did some really impressive work with Garth Brooks Bar in Nashville, Friends in Low Places, and it was a really all-encompassing project in terms of what it involved, because there was a bit of a grandfathered situation with the coding, some mirrored signage, and some impressive lighting work.
Thank you.
Our viewers are always really interested in the production process and the client meetings that go behind a really front-facing, really innovative sign like that. Could you walk us through from start to finish, briefly about what that process was like for you, what it was like to work with the client and eventually make their dreams come true with that sign?
Okay. I guess to start, it was a pretty simple meeting where we came in. We were introduced to personal designers that he had available. Also got a direction from, I guess, the management over the project, the bigger project for building the bar. Came in and wanted to discuss, what he was looking for, some of the ideas, reference things like he liked sports teams, things like that. Wants it to be American,
You wanted that classic American retro feel?
Right. So they came in, we came in with the designers, had a discussion about what he was looking for, kind of the aesthetic, some of their ideas that they were throwing some things around. And it went down to just making a bunch of iterations of the design, kind of some ideas that we could
bouncing back and forth.
Right. I think I had like a sheet of 20 at one time. I threw different things down.
Yeah.
And I'm sometimes as bold as to go and change someone's tagline. They might actually come in and have something they want, and I'll say, sorry, just being completely detached from your project. Logo
this is how you would
sound great, or how could we do this? Sometimes they want a lot of copy on a sign, and it just doesn't fit. So
that's pretty much never a good idea, right?
Right. It can be. Can we shorten this? Can we make it something smaller? And I pitched a couple of those ideas to them. Obviously, they knew what they wanted, and that's absolutely fair. But I just needed to approach it to see what we could do. It came out with a real simple design overall. I mean, it's really effective, but
it is.
We tweaked it and honed it to make sure that the word, the copy is going to fit the space really nicely if we have to stretch it or envelope it a little bit. Outside of that, once we came up with colors and the technology or what we wanted to do as far as the blinking changing colors and how on demand that needed to be is where we landed.
And if you haven't read the article, so the bar owners really wanted to be able to change the color scheme of the sign to match sort of events that are happening, whether that be the hockey team, the football team, a certain event that's in town. As everybody knows, Nashville is one of the most popular cities in the country these days. So they want to be able to brand what's going on in the city, and you guys were able to accomplish that with the lighting situation.
Absolutely. Obviously, local sports teams, they wanted to reflect that whenever there's a playoff game or something going, because he's a couple of blocks away from the main sports arena, or not sports arena, but one of the big venues.
Bridgestone Arena.
Exactly. So they will, on demand, if they want to change the sign, they can go in and change it. I think there's 12 options or 15 options for like holidays, sports teams.
Didn't even
the
think about holidays.
Their soccer team, their actually their birthdays. I think they both wanted to surprise each other, or the management team setting it up wanted to surprise them. So there's a Garth birthday and a Trish birthday. I don't think that anybody knows that really, but so that can be set on a whim. St. Patrick's Day, they called and we walked through it. It was the first time they actually wanted to change the sign and walk through how to change it. They got it set up and it was flashing green.
Perfect. And that's a perfect example of giving the client what they want, and that's just what you got to do sometimes. Of course, also Matthew worked on the Troubadour, which is a very famous venue in Nashville. They really wanted to essentially keep their retro look, update it a little bit, make it a little more crisp from what I understand.
Right.
and that wasn't necessarily. Oh, how would you describe that project for you? Is it difficult because it might be a little harder than one would assume to subtly improve a sign like that?
We're actually lucky with that one because we had the flexibility to kind of pitch ideas for how we wanted the logo to be, or to give them some kind of, not necessarily branding, but a logo. So we pitched it to them, and they were kind of actually super easy with it.
Oh, really? Great.
The hardest part was because we had gone overboard, and we gave them a whole bunch of different colors, some bigger options.
Yeah.
I mean, we took it to the wall behind and wrapped the full wall with neon.
Oh,
and
really?
Pitched it to them. That kind of was too much for them. So
Yeah.
we had to hone it back and relook at it and evaluate where they were at for what they could afford.
Yeah.
So we cut it down and scaled back, and we looked at the sign that was existing and said, what's good? What could we reuse? Because neon, if it's done right, will last forever.
Yep.
And I knew we had made that sign. We had actually refurbished it, 5 years before, but we made it originally, and we knew then that we could reuse some of that neon. So when it came back through, we just changed the colors around a little bit to coordinate with what was there, and kept, that original feel for the sides of the sign, but changing out the center to the new graphic.
Yeah, it looks amazing. So as I stated, Joslin and Son is in Nashville. Of course, very beneficial spot to be right now because there's so much development, so much branding needed. But also, you've been someone who has been plugged into the design and engineer world for a long time, and now you've kind of found your footing, from what I understand, at Joslin and Son. Can you talk to some of the younger people watching that want to be in signage, but they might be feeling a little lost, or they're not really in the position that they want to achieve within the industry? Can you talk about the steps you took to kind of get to where you are today?
I don't have a great answer for that, and I don't know how to sum it up for someone new, because I feel like my path, or my career path, was so undetermined.
Really?
I went to school because I was supposed to go to school, didn't know what to do with any of that. I've always been a creative person, but I didn't ever have an outlet for it, and I certainly didn't know that there was an outlet within the signage industry. And
people don't realize that.
I kind of took a job that was less than what I knew I was capable of at the company that I'm at. And when I looked around and saw that they had this other job that required, some technical skills that I didn't think I had, I challenged myself and asked them, said, can I take this on? I want to see what this is.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, the worst that was going to happen was I would gain a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of experience, good or bad, knowing what I should do.
Yeah.
Even if it was 2 weeks of time, and walk away with that and go apply it somewhere else.
Yeah.
And they gave me the chance. I sat and learned a lot. The first 4 weeks of that job was completely insane. It was like I was going to school every day, and pulled the information where I could, and just kind of ran with it.
I know you said that you didn't think that was a good answer, but I think it's a good answer because that's exactly kind of what you have to do. If you are trying to move up in a company or move up in an industry, you're going to have to learn new skills.
Right.
And so it's, especially the younger you are, the more intimidating that can be, or the, scarier it can be to tell management that you feel comfortable taking on a task that you've never done before.
Right, sure.
So, that in itself is really good advice. To wrap things up here, are you seeing any trends that are sticking out to you between client requests maybe in this past year or so, or things down the pipeline? Are you noticing certain creative angles that clients are leaning, or are you noticing certain trends?
I guess right now, with kind of some of the design of copy layout and logo design that's coming through, everybody wants like the skinniest, thinnest stroke fonts that you can find, and they want it to illuminate in every fancy way that you can think of.
It's very difficult.
Yeah, it's absolutely very difficult.
Yeah.
It's challenging me to figure out new ways to manufacture or to accommodate such small sizes, because when it gets so small, you just can't stick your hands and your fingers into it.
Why do you think that? Is it just stylistically that's just what's hot right now?
Yeah, just stylistically, that's kind of where people are. Because our bread and butter is that mom and pop store, or that little small store that's coming in, and
Yeah.
they've got a yoga shop. It kind of goes with what their branding is, but it's super hard to change some of that because has to go from such an extreme, a super fine script font to we have to make this 3 times the width of these letters. That's right now a big challenge.
Perfect. That's some good insight. I mean, and of course, as technology advances in the future, it'll be easier to light up a thinner piece. But right now, it's still pretty difficult.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, this is Matt Cline from Joslin and Son Signs in Nashville. Thank you so much for taking time to be here.